Thanks everyone to join us today. We actually had a great theme today to walk through. So testing product slash idea feasibility through proof of concept approach. Yeah. So before we start, I would like ask Anne to step in here and like to moderate some, some stuff before we start.
Yeah, well, you pretty much took the floor already, so not much for me to do. But anyways, let me introduce Dmitry Orel, our delivery manager, senior delivery manager, who's been with Archer Software for over 10 years. Am I correct?
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's been a while. So Dima is not only the delivery manager, meaning he's not only in charge of the process management, team management, and software development, but he is into product management, first of all. So when he joins the project that our clients bring in, he mostly starts with the value of the product and then the features, which is why proof of concept is kind of his thing. So we're really excited to have him today to speak about it. Um, I'm gonna take the floor after you, Dmitry. So if you want to
Mhm.
start, we can have a couple of minutes waiting for the rest of the participants to join, or you can smoothly just tell about yourself and your experience before jumping into the topic while everybody is joining. And then
Oh,
I'm gonna follow up with a short introduction of the Archer software, and bear with me because at the end I have a small freebie for you, which will should make it more sweet for you to sit through some salesy materials. So, would you, Dmitry?
mhm. All right. So yeah, do you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would not dive deeply in tech details today, as I'm not familiar yet with what kind of request your guys come up today. But yeah, if the information that we would touch base over today is something that you would like to proceed with, then yeah, let's have another meeting and we will guide you through of the list of kind of tools, metrics, funnel modeling we've been using while validating any business or tech stuff. So yeah, actually, so the theme of this webinar is tech product feasibility testing, sorry, product feasibility through proof of concept approach. Yeah, as Anne mentioned, that my name is Dmitry and I'm product manager in Archer Software, Cprime Group company. I've been working with both startups on different investment stages and tech unicorns. So I hope I will manage to shed light on the things related to the commonly asked question about the proof of concept and actually the ways it might be applied. Uh, well, so let's maybe sync up with you on a terminology, as the approach I'm going to talk about today is relevant for both just for ideas with no profit yet and for the project with financial traction. So let's maybe call them both as a products. Yeah, uh, I would like maybe to zoom out a little bit to figure out where POC potentially goes on in terms of its value to the product lifecycle. On the screen, you can see a list of the reasons that affect the project failures. However, I'd like to highlight just two of them. These actually 2 points are 53% of project failures, so no market need and bad tech implementation. So it means that if you will just focus on these two things and as early as you can, you might potentially mitigate a solid percent of the risk beforehand, right? So as of the POC, POC, proof of concept, about validation of certain concept of a kind of to demonstrate its potential feasibility. It is usually required by investors who kind of, need a proof that the startup or the project itself kind of can be guaranteed kind of a health of return of investment. So from my standpoint of view, the proof of concept itself should be also be considered as part of the lean approach with regards to the hypothesis validation pipeline. So I like you need essentially to determine a business value for your project or feature you are going to ship on market first, and then just to figure out whether it is feasible from the technical perspective. And this is actually the core point we would need to drill down within this meeting. So the main idea is one of the main idea is whether you are with your just business idea in the validation stage or with a market product. Both cases are valid for the POC. However, kind of this is a question which kind of direction to choose, where actually to begin, from business to tech or from tech to business. So I'm working more about the business, starting from the business. So from my standpoint of view, business is number one, where I potentially might validate the value of increment. So maximize the value of what you are planning to deliver beforehand with kind of no development involvement at this stage. So as the earlier you identified the value proposition of your idea, the more probability of success you will get. And don't trust your kind of feelings until you validate each idea you are gonna bring to your project with proofs, metrics gathered from the real market. So again, the business is number one. However, where to start and what are the entry points in terms of the infrastructure? So common use approach I've been working with is, let's say, if you are good user, if you have a good user traction on your app and you are afraid of making any experience on the production, you're always welcome to set up the staging environment with involvement preset of beta testers, and they are eventually might be a part of the real users on production. So however, you can also use production environment with a proper rollout strategy, and also keep the A/B testing approach somewhere near your injunctions. So what about the validation? Actually, there are a couple examples I think we need to try to kind of drill down. The first one is sorry. Like I'd like to add a new feature to the existing functionality. So it means that my system is already in live, and I would like to extend it by the new functionality. So the way you should validate feasibility of your ideas is like prepare a couple mockups explaining your idea along with kind of explainer tooltips. Then roll out to the place where your users are. A/B tests are, again, nice to have in place. It is a good way actually to have a couple version of what you are going to add to your system and run them through the A/B test approach, so that essentially you would need to make kind of the rollout for at least for a couple of groups of kind of non-overlapping users. Yeah, also, again, you need to collect and analyze metrics. Basically, it is enough to use Google Analytics, heat map, session recording, and survey on this stage, based, again, on the business and tech specifics of your project. There will be a list of the specific tools for tracking user behavior and like getting feedback from his side. Again, the second idea is, let's say I have an idea in my mind and I don't really know what to start with, and the way you need to start with is create at least one page simple website with the high quality creatives. I prefer to use 20 or 30 seconds of promo video rather than 18 tons of text and infographics or diagrams. So this video should feel like a real one, like the project already exists on the market. Number two is you definitely need to set up a funnel, actually slash action buttons or action links. Then add tracking tools in order to track the user behavior. Then you also need to identify your value proposition, market, and your target audience. The next one, you need to pay at least $500 for the traffic on the channels where your target audience is. So you are welcome to use the Facebook, the Google, the LinkedIn. This is enough for this kind of stage. And yeah, at the end, you need to collect and analyze metrics. So a list of tools and metrics I mentioned in the previous case works well for this one also. However, you are welcome also to dive a little bit deeper and to analyze more key performance metrics like CTR, like conversions, user acquisition cost. Sometimes for some kind of validation, I'm trying to figure out the lifetime value. It's hard to do it on this specific stage. However, it's a good point to start with. Yeah, so once all things about the business value are put in place, you should ensure that the product is feasible from the technical perspective. So are there any kind of risk that may block your product, and are there any ways to mitigate those ones? Yeah, so typically I use the structure presented here to put a list of, identified tech risk on a table and figure out what are the most critical ones and whether any of them might be, prototyped as part of the mitigation plan. Yeah, this is, pretty much straightforward, steps. So yeah, we have a risk description. We have, estimation of its potential impact. Of course, probability and exposure, which is, the sequence between the previous two. And once the risks are found, I usually start preparing the mitigation plan for each of the risk item, which is a list of the steps towards the way to validate the concept has a real life potential and technical feasibility. So basically, mitigation plan should meet actually two core criteria. The first one, it should be developed within the short period of time. Usually it takes, I don't know, up to 2, maximum 3 weeks. And the second point, it should work properly with no tech constraints, since we are validating the technical things on this way. And if any technical constraints still would be on the table, we need, again, to decompose it and to try to figure out whether any of criticals are on the table still and whether they need to be somehow prioritized and prototyped. Risk under the risk. This is actually the example. what happened to me, I don't know, 3-4 years ago. I actually worked with one client who actually decided to penetrate to US healthcare market with his cutting edge technology, which was based on the ready-made smart device from one well-known vendor in the United States. And we did a great job. We, in regards to hypothesis validation, we actually found the market, identified the target audience, prepared a business plan, as well as a market penetration strategy. Moreover, we pitched the idea to potential customers and investors, and who decided actually to go with us once we successfully passed two technical risks that were occurred at that time. So we decided to prototype both concepts as a high priority ones. And one of the concept was to record voice and send it to our backend. We spent at least 2-3 weeks of the development and successfully provided workable prototype. Well, the one point that it slips through of us is that time is changing, and we and kind of a new risk may potentially come up, even if everything looks good and well defined. So after 3 months of the full cycle of the development, we started connecting the piece of code that was responsible for getting audio records from the device, and figure out that the API method we used for processing audio records was totally removed. Moreover, documentation, official documentation was also updated in a way this part of the functionality no longer exists. The point here that unfortunately we actually were there were neither alternative solution at that moment nor any pivot options, that the project was closed. So this example actually showed that once your project is directly linked to any third-party solution, then you should certainly understand what to do if vendor will potentially change his service model your project is based on. So this is kind of the risk under the risk. So we validated one risk, however, the second one was slipped through of us. That's why the project was closed and no any options to to change to another vendors. So what's next? Once all business and technical risks are well mitigated, the project budget and the schedules are well set, then you are free to move further and kick off development work activities with a list of risks, mitigation plan, and the results of proof of concept on the table. Looks like, I'm done. It's pretty much that I actually wanted to share with you. I don't know, guys, whether you have any questions, just let me know. Let's talk about this.
Yes, if you feel like unmuting and asking something, this is the great way to do it. Otherwise, you can use chat. Meanwhile, I have a question. What do you think, Dima, is the right moment to maybe stop doing proof of concept, or is there a moment to do that in any product development?
Well, of course, so the way you need to stop doing the proof of concept, stop. It means that you already started and you will find the way to stop. Of course, once you validate that your idea is feasible, it's dependent on the specific task that you are trying to set or to reach within this phase. However, again, if you have concerns with the technical realization, and you need to figure out how to try to fit it into the small time frame, which is 1-2 weeks. Try to understand how can I validate that the project that I'm trying to to develop will be feasible in 2, 3, 5, 7 months. Is again the average amount of the life cycle of the project in our company is 10 up to 12 months. So again, usually we faced up with at least 3-5 proof of concept on the technical side on this kind of project. And again, answering your question, yeah, it is dependent on what you are going to validate. Sometimes I actually faced up one situation when we spent more than 2 weeks and was 1.5 weeks. There was a lot of the third-party services we should potentially work with and parse a lot of data from them. And this was a big chunk of work to analyze whether the data we would use would come up in the proper format, whether we would be banned somehow, and are there any workarounds before we start, the official kickoff of the project. So we spend at least 1.5 months. Yeah.
Gotcha. And in terms of the team, what would be the best setup for a proof of concept? What would you, place? Who would you place on the team for that?
Yeah, it's a good question. So sometimes one of the guys mentioned that I need to, again, his attitude to the proof of concept, that the proof of concept should be based on the technical stack of the main project. However, we are not yet defining the technical stack, the team itself. So right now we are talking about the business. Then we are trying to figure out whether any technical solution are on the table which are free for us to work with. And if, for example, yeah, you need to validate the first phase, the business phase, you need obviously assistant of marketing department. In our case, yeah, we work together. They are helping us with the traffic. They're helping us with some attracting users from the different marketing channels. They're helping us with some metrics to figure out whether we are like fit into the KPIs. The second point, the point about the technical stuff, is more about the development, of course. Like 2 points, yeah, the development and the architecture. So, however, again, I would like to point you out that you don't need to understand what are the technical stack would be in future. Just try to use any technologies that you are free or that you have on the table. Just use them while you would experiencing with the technical proof of concept. However, again, it would be sometimes it differ with the core stack that you will use in future.
Gotcha. Yeah, we actually have a question in chat. Is there a case when we should skip proof of concept?
Yeah, actually, if there is no any concerns, actually, the technical, yes, maybe, but the business, I'm not sure, since, as I mentioned in my speech, that even if you are planning to extend your project with the new items, with the new features, this is not the 100% of proof that the end users will use it. You need to validate it before moving to the development. So yes, I would like to put the new functionality. Okay, you would like, but how can you ensure that someone will use it in the way you're expecting to get? Do you have any metrics? Do you have any like proofs on the table? No. This is not the real market. This is just your feelings. However, if we're talking about the technical, yes. If your team, if we're talking about the existing project and you are just extended it, if your technical team can guarantee you that your new functionality is doable and no risks occur on this way, then yes, we can skip it.
Did you have any cases from your experience when the whole startup or the whole feature has to be canceled or pivoted somehow, changed somehow after the proof of concept, this first phase of business?
Yeah, of course. We had lots of startups right now on the seed and Series A level, and once you have invested funds, you need to like track them more carefully. So yeah, it means that each step that we need to do on the way of developing the system, we need to measure in terms of the kind of market fit. Yeah, sometimes we get rid of the bunch of the desired needs that we were expecting to add to their system. However, once we start getting any metrics and some proof that this is not something interesting for the end client, we are definitely changing our mind. We are at least for 80-85% of those ones which are no longer valid for our clients, we usually get rid of. The others one we trying to again to, if we are still believe in these features and we would like somehow to push it to production, we are using the A/B testing. So we provided different kind of options. So this option is number one, this option is number two, this option number three, and we start validating it through the different groups of users. However, this is if we're talking about just one idea. So we would try to decompose it and to change it a little bit. Since we sometimes we have again the market says yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Sometimes the funnel provides us a different distortion. So we need again to find the right position, the right answers on our assumptions.
Right. We actually have a follow-up comment on the previous question about skipping proof of concept. And our guest says that perhaps skipping these phases in B2B is more common, but B2C should definitely have the proof of concept phases. Do you feel like there is a difference for B2B or B2C products here?
Well, it's a good question. Yeah, as the last huge project that I've been working with is a MuleSoft, and we use lots of A/B testing. So we had a list of the environments, and this is the B2B. Yeah, this is the API provider, one of the huge provider in the world. And we had different groups. This is the real users. We have a motivation to be involved in our process of validation, and we had a specific stages for validating this kind of our assumptions. So we provided them both like technical already done solution and like some prototypes, like it was the UI prototypes, where they were potentially had a chance to click and to see some charts, some consistency between the screens, some potential metrics that we can potentially implement in the future. And it was really powerful thing. And we this is actually the 12th project that we've run with this company. They were really successful, since each step we were validated just through of this sequence of steps. So no issue were delivered to production until we get approved from the preset of beta testers. Beta testers are the real one testers. The testers who these are the companies who have some motivation to become a part of the beta program of the MuleSoft team. I mean, so the answer in your question, yes, B2C is one of the efficient way. However, the B2B also from my standpoint of view, should work with this approach also.
Yeah, I can totally agree with you, since I'm kind of the user of the corporate applications. I feel like sometimes the updates that are deployed are not the ones I'm satisfied with, and you basically have the same users on the other end, whether it's B2C or B2B, it's still people, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, anyone else jump into the discussion we're having here? All right, if no one else has any other questions, I think we're gonna move on to my presentation a bit. And maybe if you have any other questions on the go, please feel free to jump in at any moment. Thank you, Dima. Was really great.
Thank you.
Okay, let me take over the sharing.
Would you like me to stop sharing?
No, I can actually grab it without your consent. So
yeah.
No
All
worries.
right. Yeah, we already done it. Okay.
Yeah, I did. Okay, so I won't bore you with a lot of details about Archer, but we have been on the market for over 20 years already. We are mostly focused on custom software development for different needs and different niches. We have primary expertise in automotive, healthcare, and fintech, but it's not narrowed down. We basically can build anything you want for any kind of niche. And just from the examples that Dmitry has provided, you can see that we have a very broad types of clients. We have different solved different tests for them and provided different services as well. So yeah, just recently, last year, we've joined the family of Cprime. Cprime is one of the largest Atlassian distributors and agile transformation consulting companies in US. So now we're having even more value to bring to you, together with the custom software development teams that we have that we can build for you, and the products that we can build with those teams for you. And we now can provide you with trainings on various aspects of the agile product development. We can set up the virtual working spaces for your teams, which is really, really important right now in terms of the pandemic and the remote gaining so much space in our lives. So here's just a couple of examples of where we are, where we stand. The Archer software you can see on the left. These are the years and the number of clients that we've served over those years. And these are just the examples of what types of clients Cprime serves. So we're really excited to be joining this huge company, which is also a part of Elton Group, a bigger one, and having at least 40,000 employees all over the world doing things very different, not just software development. So pretty much anything you want to be solved for your business, I'm sure we can do for you. But if we focus specifically on Archer software development, this is basically what we cover, which is full cycle custom software development. We start with the idea, we then proceed with the proof of concept that Dima has vividly explained to us why and how to do it. And then we proceed to actual product design. This is where we would get our teams of designers, business analysts, market researchers, and of course the tech team that can build the architecture, design the technological structure of your application or your software. And then we actually proceed to the development itself. We can do anything you want, like mobile development or web development, or even embedded development. We have a lot of experience in this area as well, for healthcare, for automotive companies. And of course, this all goes together with the quality assurance, which you can also get as a separate service. We can audit your product development processes. We can add the teams that or specific specialists that your company lacks. And the DevOps, which is an integral part to any product development, making sure that the infrastructure, the technological infrastructure behind your user interface is doing okay, is doing all right, and doesn't cost you a lot. So this is where the product emerges. This is where we can actually work with something that changes people's lives, the users' lives. Every product is, of course, you want to make money out of that, but the basic idea is to build value. Otherwise, no money will come in, right? And once you're in place, once you're on the market, once you have live users, you obviously need to scale the business. And two parts of that concerns agility and tooling, which is all the services that Cprime company offers, helping you build the processes, getting more flexible in your processes, and of course, the tooling, the Atlassian tools and AWS and whatnot. We have a lot of options covering not just those two major partners of Cprime. And then the business grows. This is where we come in to help you scale the team in the right way, to find the right talents, to staff your teams and make it more efficient. And as a whole, at the end of this cycle, we bring value, we build the value together with you. Our team becomes an integral part to your team. And this is what we take pride in. We want to be a part of your team, not just a developer who just does the coding, but rather and understanding your business, understanding the goals that you want to pursue, the way that you want to achieve those goals, and help you do that fast, efficiently, and with less pains and challenges. So yeah, just to give you an example of what types of company we're working with, we serve Reno, who's been with us for over 10 years already, and Medoc and Pixel and Rymed, which are great examples of those embedded solutions that we've built. JP Morgan Banker, which is a virtual bank for kids. So it's very, very different, as you can see. MuleSoft that Dima mentioned previously and Smartly, both very big companies getting who grew with us, who changed with us, and who we take a great pride in serving. And to crown my presentation, I'd like to show you and provide you a link to our landing page where you can start gaining value just today already. We offer you a short feasibility test for your business idea, which is 15 hours of work from our side, from our team. We're not specifying the people. You might need business analysts at this point, or you might need a UX or a UI designer, or maybe you want to talk to some senior developer about your technological issues and the problem you're solving right now, and you want to explore options. So these 15 hours, we want to give you complimentary for your participation in our webinar today. And please feel free, I'm going to send this in our chat. Please feel free to fill it in or just ping me. I'm sure you have my email. All of you have been signing up to the webinar and receiving a lot of communications from me. So we're here for you to help, and we would like to do that.